Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So I did say last time that I did want to come back with this Wildflowers Deluxe Craft Kit. Now this was in the last launch, it was a while ago, of the Deluxe Craft Pads. There was 3 new ones launched. This is the one that I fell in love with. Now it's matte-tastic, which I love because I love the shiny, but I really love the matte-tastic as well. And the beautiful thing about these pads is that they're all contained in one pad, but on the back also is the list. You've got the coordinating items there, so you don't have to think, oh, does that foiled sheet go with this one? It's all laid out for you in the order that they have been designed. So I really love that, makes it easy for us. So I am going to be playing with I'm So Excited today. So let's pop that out, hopefully carefully so that I don't lose the top, but I might end up doing. And then if I go through, so I'm not going to go through them all individually because I'm going to be doing that as I go along. So we have the clover, which is the printed, but obviously you're going to get a sneak peek. And then there is in the foiled, she says, that's in back to front, that's weird. Normally they're all facing you, but that's the foiled. So we've got these little fronds, look how beautiful that is. And it's all like a notepad, beautiful. And I do need, for my video today, I am going to grab one of the inserts as well, which is this one here. Okay, so let's pop that to the side. Actually, I'll pop it under my desk. So these are the elements that we're going to be playing with today. Let's pop that one there. Now to start, I'm going to bring in, so the first card I'm going to do is a 6x6. I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. So I've got a piece of 6x12 cardstock. It's 300 GSM white, and I am going to score at the 6-inch. And then I want to do a twisted easel. So I want my diagonal line to come from here to here. So all I'm going to do is I'll find that center point that we just popped it in. Because I put a black line on my board, I know where that center is going. But you could just do it with a ruler if you are in any way confused. And we'll come and give those a little burnish down with a little burnishing tool. And we're going to end up with our twisted easel like so. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I'm going to take a 6x6 Miri mat, and I'm going to take 2 notches or 1/8 of an inch off of it on 2 sides, and that is going to be my base. And then I'm going to take this second one and I'm going to cut it to 5 3/4. So these pieces you can keep if you want to. And then we're just going to cut it on that diagonal. I just find by having that extra 2 notches, you do get a better shaped. Let me just put it this way around so you can see without it glaring. You do get a more even border all the way around. So that's going to be that piece there. And then I'm going to come in with the foiled cardstock. And I'm going to start, so this piece we did at 5 3/4. So I'm going to come another 1/4 inch again. So I'm going to come to 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. the nice piece that could go on a scrapbook page, something like that. Now what I want to do is, if I bring that in, I want my flowers to be on this right hand side, so I need to make sure I'm cutting down there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut it face up. Normally I would do it the other way, doesn't really make any difference, but just so that I know I've got that the way I want it to be, just make sure that fits nicely. And then we've got that detail going up, then we're going to have our circle coming off the side. Now this piece, I will have to save it, make another easel card of it maybe, or I could come in and do maybe one of those cutaway cards, you know, but it does have to be some kind of triangular theme to it. That's the only downside with this one. And then if I grab my little guillotine and that insert for the base, and this just needs to be that 5 3/4. There's a hair on there, I don't know where that's come from. And that's going to be our base there, so it can still be written on like a normal card, but it's beautiful enough to be pretty as well. So let's bring our pieces in. And the glues I'm going to be using, I've got the Clout All-Purpose Glue, which is an alcohol-based glue, like an ethanol alcohol. Obviously it's not drinkable, please don't even think about drinking it. We've got the Clout All-Purpose, which is a sort of water-based glue, PVA glue. Probably going to be using my purple glue stick. I'm definitely going to be using my dotty tape pen as well, because I've got the paper here. So having said that, let's start with that first of all. So I'm a crafter, just in case you're new to my channel, I'm a crafter that likes to use two glues. I don't know quite why there's so many bits on my desk today. I use the Clout All-Purpose because it's my favourite glue, but I don't like to go too near the edges because of the, it can take the shine off my mirror. So I will use my dotty tape pen to just secure those edges. It means it's not moving around while I am moving on to the next stage. Now you can see I'm just a little bit too far to the left, and with that dotty tape pen, if I just get my nail underneath, release those dots at the top and the bottom, and then what I should be able to do, actually I might need to do them on those ends as well, and if I come down there, yep, and I should be able to just move that a tad that way, and that's better. Okay, so that's the brilliant thing about those dots, is that you do get that window of opportunity just to move them. Okay, now with my twisted easel, I have to decide what way I want. So the card is probably going to be displayed at an angle facing me, so I've got to decide how I want those flowers to be. Now there is a sort of a letter here at the top of this design, but I'm kind of thinking I'm going to have it that way round. So we will need a stopper, and that's probably going to go over round about where that letter is anyway. And it is a faded out design, so it's not too in your face. And let's just pop that down. And for the corners on this one, I've used the tacky glue because we're going on to the back of cardstock. So paper, products like inserts, the pads, you know, the paper pads, those sort of things, I generally tend to not use the PVA glue with, because it can, depending on the thickness of the paper, the Matastic papers do tend to be better, but the thinner papers, it can soak in and it can make it sort of bubble up as it dries, which is really annoying because you never see it when you make the card. It's only after the card has dried and everything that you realise that it's not looking as great as you would hope. Then I'm going to use the same glues again, so we're going onto the cardstock, so we're fine. and put that onto there. I was watching a video over the weekend actually. It's funny how it sort of came up, but it was somebody, and they had I say somebody, it's probably a company, I don't know, but they were making super glue using ethanol, which is a form of alcohol, and polystyrene. And it was really weird how they just poured it on and the polystyrene just like literally melted underneath it and then produced, you know, what we would call super glue, a super sticky solvent, you know. But it was quite cool. Right, let's bring in our topper. So we're going with this beautiful big circle. And just working my way around, easing those pips out. We can neaten them up with our scissors. And then I think, so I've got 3 sentiments on here, I suppose sentiment style things. I've got good luck, get well soon, or I'm so excited. So I think we'll use this as a get well soon. So let's put some pretty flowers on. If you don't like any of these, you can go in with your sentiment book, little books of sentiments, your shape sentiments, the adhesive sentiments, peel offs, you know, all of those things. Maybe even your dies as well. I love the birthday overlay dies. So there's quite a few pips on this one. Maybe because it's matastic, maybe it's a softer. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Okay, let's just pop these out. I'm not going to be using, I am going to be using the middle one. Tell a lie. So just going to be super careful with them all. And what I like to do when I've got a circle like this and a twisted easel card is to lie them on top of each other. So I'm just going around the pips on there. And if you are struggling to see them, just turn them over and these become more noticeable. There's quite a few on this one. Like I say, just working my way around. If you're not confident with these scissors to get them, you can use a little nail file, as long as you're careful with obviously the foiled side of things. Sometimes you can just sort of bend them down neatly with your nails as well if you have got a long-ish nail. Okay, so this border has got this sort of pattern on the 2 sides, so I just need to decide how I want that to go. And I think what I'm going to do is have it on the halfway, maybe just a little bit more. So we've got this sort of plainer side under here, which is going to be hidden under all of my rings anyway. But if I put my finger there, I'm just going to use a little bit of tacky glue on its own. And then we're just going to pop that on. What I also want to make sure is that I'm staying within the real estate of the card, because realistically we still want to get it into an envelope. Let's just bring that down a tad. Now this one, again, I'm going flat, and I'm just going to pop, again, some tacky glue. Put a little bit too much there, so I'm just going to take some off on my arm. Now, I've done that many times, so I know I don't have any reactions to it, but it's worth just being a little careful if you haven't done that before. And I can see I've just got a little bend in it there, so I was just trying to manoeuvre that around a little bit. And then this one here, we're going to do some 2mm foam pads. Now, is there a right or a wrong way? Kind of feel like there is going to be good. And what I'm going to do is pop these along here. And I can go up to that halfway mark, just for a nice amount of support. and we'll pop these off. Oops. And a little bit of tacky glue. Just, I don't like taking that purple glue stick to my project. And I think we're going to go around about there, so we've got those halos going out. So that's how it's going to look when it's stood up. Again, it's still all within the real estate of the card, and important to make sure you don't put any glue or anything on this side, otherwise it's not going to pop up when it's folded. And then we're going to come in with our Get Well, and like I say, I'm going to cover up that note. So on here is a sort of note with a button, just so it makes a bit more sense. It doesn't matter about that bit because it's just sort of writing, so it looks more sort of pattern decorative sort of thing. But if I pop some 2mm on there again, this time I'll use the purple glue stick. It is better on the paper for sure than the tacky. And then we're just going to come there for our Get Well Soon. Now I think there was a little button on here as well. So we've got a green one, we've got a plain one. I think I'm going to go with this green one. And just tidy that up with those pips. There we go. And I'm just going to come in on this bottom corner. So I want it on, because there's no right or wrong way with this. I don't need to worry about the button, the sort of putting any purple glue stick or anything. Now, do I want it on here or do I want it on there? I think I am. Oh, we could put it there. I'm going to put it here and there. And then I think what we'll do is just bring in a couple of gems. Maybe 3. Okay, so I'm going to pop one in this corner on here, just using my wax tip pick-up tool. And then I'm just going to bring 2 in there. And that is going to be card number 1. So we've got our little twisted easel with our radiating circles, and I love doing that design with circles on a twisted easel because it always looks really cool. But that's card number 1, and I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so I'm going the same again, 6x6x12 cardstock, 300 GSM, so another 6x6 card. And I'm going to pop this in at the 2-inch mark, and I'm just going to cut from 6.5 down to 1. And then I'm going to move that over to the 4, and we're just going to go back to that 6.5. And then what I will do while that's in there, just get the blade out of the way. So at the 1 inch, just score between the cut lines, 1.5, and at, if we open the arm out, 6.5. It's just going to help me find those lines on the scoreboard. Easy out for me to see. Okay, let's bring the scoreboard in. So like I said, between those lines we're scoring at 1, at 1.5, at 6 we're going all the way along, so it's like a normal card, and then 6.5 just in the middle then. And this is just going to create that cute little pop-up that I love. And it's perfect for those sort of longer shaped toppers. I think Amy also did an amazing one, but you'd have to reduce it down to 3 flippers. If you look back at the samples, if you're struggling to find card ideas for these longer shaped ones, if I just show you these longer shaped ones, go onto the Hunkydory gallery, or you can look on Pinterest as well on Hunkydory crafts and look at the ones for the bookmark toppers. Loads of ideas for those on there. Okay, so all I've done is just folded that over, just give them a really nice burnish down, and our card will have that pop up in the middle. You could go further over to the left if you prefer, it's up to you. Okay, and then I'm just going to grab a 6x6 Miri map. Just going to take 2 notches off that 6, and then all we need is 2 notches off the 2 twice, and then this piece here I'm going to take it to 2, so I'm not taking the 2 notches off, and then I am going to take that to 2 notches under the 1. And that's because we've already taken 2 notches off here, so we've already got that white space there. So if I just pop that in, you can see we've got nice space in there. Now I think that I'm using the clover. Let me just pop out my clover topper here. I think I shouldn't need to do a mat for that centre piece, so it's pretty much going to go all the way along, so I'm not going to worry about that piece. So we'll put that into our bit box. I'm probably going to use the border though, so we'll get that out afterwards. Now the printed cardstock has that beautiful clover running along, so all I need to do for this, let's take a piece at 3 1/2, so 1 3/4, 1 3/4, so 2, yeah, 3 1/2, well it's actually 3 3/4 I've taken, so I know I'm going to have more than I need. Let's take it to 5 3/4. That's very difficult for me. And then 1 3/4 and 1 3/4, and that's going to be those pieces that go on there. Now I do want a little to just take a little bit of clover along that bottom, I think. Let me just get this border out and we will see if it goes over that whole of that one, well, it's 3/4 of an inch space that we need to fill. If it goes all over, so I'm just popping it out in a very awkward way, as my mum would say, cack-handed. So it will need something. I think what I'm going to do is, rather than cut into that, I'm going to keep that piece quite nice and big, and I'm just going to take a piece that's 3/4 of an inch by 2 notches under the 2. And that should fit on there quite nicely. And then we're going to have our border going all the way along with those anemones on as well. So we will tie all that together. So we've got 2 different styles of flowers on this one. So I'm going to cut that to 5 3/4. And I've got a sentiment that I'm going to be using out of the shaped sentiments. So I'm thinking this is probably going to come along there, unless I do away with that border. No, I do want that border, I like it. Right, we'll have a little, might have to rethink that piece. But we've got our players, so let's get some pieces glued on. Might have to go with a little book of sentiments instead. That might be just a little wider than I want, although I could cut it into half and have birthday and wishes, but I don't think I want to do that. Okay. My brain is working while I'm just thinking of ways to change that up. But I think the little book of sentiments it's going to be the way, because I don't want to use that I'm so excited. What was the other one on there? The other one was Good Luck, a little tiny Good Luck. Maybe. Sorry, Henry's just having a little bark. It's quite windy outside today, and we've had the council out the back. They've come round to sort of trim all the bushes and everything by the road, and they've got one of those wood chipper things going. So that's moved. Let me just move that back. Yeah, they've got one of those wood chipper things going, which is super noisy, and it doesn't smell very nice either. You know, like the sap of trees. It's not nice. Earlier they were cutting the grass, which was quite nice, because you had the grass smells. And now it's the sort of the chipper dudes. Okay, so that's where we're at now for this piece. Because it is so small, I'm just going to use my dotty tape pen. I will put a little bit of all-purpose in the middle, which should just give us a little bit of floaty time. And same again with this one. Glue dots, or dotty tape pen rather, a little bit of all-purpose glue, and then we'll just ease that into position. There we go. And then this one is going to come across, like I say, you are going to not see a lot of that little piece. You could leave it out if you wanted to. I think I'm going to do that on some 2mm foam pads. Let's try the other end, because those ones didn't want to come off. So I was pleased to see Craig on today. I think he's going to be great for the team, and I think it's going to be great for him as well. Because he is a great crafter, makes some really nice cards, so you should see some lovely things. They did good things with the gel pens today, I think. I like the gel pens. I'd love to know what that silver and gold is like on the books, to see whether it can give a really nice, you know, like a realistic faux foiling. Just double check whether I want to use that one or whether I want to use the other one. I think I do want to use that one. Okay, so if you're using any of the other toppers, if you decide to use the sort of oval one or the arched one, what you might find is that you have to put a matte layer on there, because it might be seen behind. So for this one, what I'm going to do is just pop some foam pads directly onto this space. And we can take those off. Down. Okay, and I'm going to use my tacky glue. I never take my purple glue stick to my project because I get too messy. And this will come over the top a little, but I have got an oversized envelope. If you haven't, it might be worth just going in with a matte layer underneath and putting it a little lower. Right, so we've got to that stage now. Now we need to think about a sentiment. Let me just move that out of the way, because I've got that Christmas book there. Really didn't prepare this. Let's have a look on. So my 2025 book is falling to pieces. So pink and gold. We could do with purple. There's a nice happy birthday to you. Might come back to that. Pink and silver. Black. Many happy returns. Vivid pink. Yellow. Darker purple, but it's silver. So let's go with that light purple. Oh, it's silver though, isn't it? Oh, it's always the wrong colour, isn't it? Okay, let me grab my other book. This is, oh, it's the Matastic one from last year, so even better. Let's see, so pink or purple in the gold if possible. Could go with white in the gold or cream. Okay, so I'm just cut some of that out because I was umming and ahhing, and I've gone with this Matastic 2024, and I'm going to use that happy birthday, hope all your wishes come true. So this again, we're going 2mm, so we're just going to pop that on. Nearly done on this one now. Use the purple glue stick. Pop this one on the side. So we've got the whites that come in here anyway. Again, I'm going to go with these golds. And I think what I'm going to do is just have a nice little spray. Going the other way, so big to little. Arrange those a bit more in a minute, and then let's take that one out wherever it's gone. Have that little one there, so I'll find that other one in a second. So let me just get these in place. I think probably somewhere around about there, and then there on that side. Okay, you could go in the corners if you prefer, and also, you know, state the obvious is you could be embossing these if you've got the Hunkydory dots, if you've got any of the Spellbinders florals, you know, they would all look gorgeous on here embossed. Oops, I've got to stay. Okay, so, and where did that other one go? There you are. Let's pop you back with your friends, because we are running out of those medium sizes. Okay, and those came from AliExpress or Temu, £3 or £4 for a box like that. But that is going to be our card number 2 with that little pop-up panel. Like I say, I have got an oversized envelope, so I'm pretty sure it's going to fit in. If not, I'll just make a little card box. The Hunkydory card boxes will fit that really well. It will go in the small one. And then if I bring in that first card we made as well. So still got quite a lot left on this one. We've got those 2 sort of more bookcase, and I could put a ribbon on there if you want to. I'm going to not, or shall I go ahead and put a ribbon on? Let me just show you those bits that were left over, and obviously those 2 pieces, and we've got enough to do that as well. Let me go ahead and just pop a little ribbon on, because now I've thought about it, now I want it to happen. I'm going to use a piece of Hunkydory ribbon because I've got a nice pink piece to hand. Let me just grab it here, so it goes really lovely with that. And my bow maker is in the wrong place, but let's go ahead, and this is probably about 1/2 centimetre, this ribbon, I would say, approximately. And if I can get it to go through, come on, behave. Oh, that needs to be bigger. Maybe this is not Hunkydory ribbon, maybe this is a bit bigger, but anywho, we're going to stay with it. Let's go with a bigger bow. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. And this card will take it, so it'll be fine. Tie that up nice and tight. Bring that in. Shut that down. And I'm going to put a nice amount on here. A little bit more than usual. I'm going to pop that onto there. I'm going to use my tweezers and I will clamp that there for about 5 minutes. By the time you see the pictures, you will see it with them on. But that is going to be the finished card now. I really have finished, honest. Sometimes it just takes that little bit and you just think, and then it's got to go. It's got to be done. Okay, so I am going to be working through this book in the meantime. So there are 3 more pages. So a little set of 4 videos. Hopefully I'm going to do something that I have never done before, which is to use up the whole of a deluxe pad. So I'm hoping to make some more cards with these tomorrow, pop them up on Pinterest, and then maybe when I've finished I'll do a little sort of reel on Facebook with all of the cards on or something like that. But that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye.